I'm just back from the woodworking store. I didn't get anything in particular, but the big news is I have a new accessory for my dovetailing jig. I've got the dust collection attachment. Looking forward to giving that a try. We're going to be assembling some drawer boxes today. So let's get inside and get started. I'll see you there. I'm Roby Price, and welcome to my garage workshop. In this series, we're building a Spalted Pecan dresser. Drawer Box Assembly, Part 2. This is my layout for the boards, and I'm just going to try to walk through it. First of all, these are the insides of all 4 boards, and I've got up pointed in each direction. So these things will fold this way and this way when I roll them up. I've also got these corners are set, these corners are set, these corners are set, and these corners are set. Finally, I have them labeled tails and pins. Finally, for the orientation in the jig, I want to be able to view this sticker when it's set into the jig. That ensures the proper placement. And this particular sticker I want to hide, and that'll make sure that the boards fit upright. Now the only thing left to do is take these edges right here and square them off so that I have a good square line right here, and I can start from there, and then I'll go to the jig and we'll start cutting these things. I'm getting ready to measure the height of these to make sure everything's fine. I know what it is, but this is just the double check. I want to get a really tight fit. So I will measure each of these before taking the board to the rip fence. And I will measure on all 4 sides. So I know each one of these. Now I'll take this over to the rip fence and we'll rip them to width. My panels are glued up, but I want the heartwood to be in the center of each one where I have sapwood. So I will take the good edge, as you see right there, and I'll put that up against the rip fence. I'll take off some of the sapwood on the side that hasn't been squared up. And that's what's happening here. I'm going to take off some of the sapwood. No need to measure, just a need to get close. Having made my first cut, I will take a measure and cut the next one precisely. And I have my finished panel. Well, you're probably wondering why I'm checking the panel yet again. Well, it's belt and suspenders, but I want to make sure my cut is accurate and that it fits everywhere in the case. Tuning up a drawer box post-assembly is a pain, and I'd rather get it right now than fix it later. Well, this is what I'm trying to hit right here with my dovetail. You can see the marks on either side, and I want the dovetail to go down there to cut this material out so you can't see it from the other side. When I do the pins will come through and hide it. So I want these 2 guides right here centered over top, and because it's a little tight on top, it's fighting me a little bit getting them to move in. But the whole trick is to get this to be centered on those marks. There we go. Now on the top side up here, I want a little bit more room, so I'm just going to kind of feel that flush on this side over here and make sure that it sits well. And then getting the rest of these is just a matter of getting a good spacing. After I've got the spacing the way I want it, I'll tighten it up with a special screwdriver on these nuts, and that will lock it in place. I'm set up over here with my dovetailing jig. I'm ready to do the tails. That's what we're aligned to, and we do the tails first. I've also got a new dust shroud on this. I've got dust collection. This is brand new. I found a part online. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it works with my dust collection system. It will certainly be cleaner. So my routers are set up over here, and I've got my electrical. So it's just a matter of getting started. I've been dialing in my jig, and I think I've about got it. I'm very flush on the sides, and the fit is very tight, so I'm happy. Once I put glue in this thing, the wood swells up a little bit, it'll be tighter still. I've got just a touch of fingers, just a whisper of an overlap right here, and that's what I want, because I do like to take a router and flush these things up. It makes for a great appearance, and I'm pretty flush on top here, but of course this is where the drawer front goes, so I'm not as worried about that. Getting this to size up right, I've had to build my own stops for this machine, and you can see that in the picture to the side. The stops that I had, the stops that came with this machine, were for 3/4 inch material, and it's hard to find attachments for this machine anymore because, quite frankly, it's out of production and they just don't make it. That's why I was glad to find this on the net. So I have dialed it in, and now it's time to go ahead and size these boards for length and then finish up the dovetails for the top 2 drawers. Well, I'm testing my drawer boxes. They're not glued up. Dovetails fit real nice. I'm happy with that. Good and solid. And the next step is to put the drawer bottoms in. Now, I don't know how quick you are or if you've seen this. If you look right here, all my careful planning has produced wonderful dovetails, a fantastic fit, but they're in the wrong place. In other words, if I make a dado in the drawer front right down through here where the bottom is, it'll be plainly evident through this tail, and we don't want that. So yes, it's a mistake. Is it insurmountable? No. It just means I have a stopped dado in this drawer front. In the back, it won't matter. But I have created some work for myself. And we will go ahead and go to the router table and make that stopped dado. And at the end of the day, will anybody notice? Probably not. So I'm not worried about it. A little miffed. It's a little more work. But at the end of the day, it's got to be done right, and we will do just that. So now it's time to make the dados and the drawer boxes to receive the bottoms. And after that, we'll glue the whole thing up and start on these next ones, which are a little different. These, I'm going to want to put a drawer runner in. And I'm not too sure how that's going to work quite yet. Additionally, they have dividers, which is going to be another through dovetail. So we've got some work to do and some layout on those as well. Might as well sand it now. It just gets harder later. All right, this is the front, so this is the grain direction that I want, but I want to cut this side off too first because it's easier to manage. So this right here, my dado down and through here is half the distance. So if I measure from here to here, which is going to be 18 and 3/16, and I come over here, this is 8, yeah, that's a clean edge. 18 and 3/16, right about there. So what I want to do, just to verify my measure, is to take this, and that looks about right. So that's going to be where I'll go. Yeah, okay, stop that. Well, I've just finished up another drawer on my dovetail jig, and it dawned on me that before I start cutting in the slots for the drawer bottoms, I better get the drawer runners put together first. So what I've got here is a set of stock. It's an old, this is scrap, but it'll be fine for the drawer runners. I need about 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is make sure that this surface is flat on the jointer and take it to the planer and clean it up. And then we're going to start milling some pretty complicated joinery on this, and I can get 2 runners out of each one of these. They'll be plenty long, and I'll use these, and then I will fit them to each drawer after the fact by putting in the final joinery details.
Ripping the drawer runners to width.
I'm set to 1/4 inch right there, and that is just about right. And the reason is that I want the groove in the plywood to be 1/4 inch off the bottom. That's where my dado is set. So I have to make one on both sides, and then I'll push the fence back just a little bit to get that to clear. I have taken some time to put the dado blade in, and I've also shimmed it up so that I could get a good fit. And in these I've marked which side, because these are not equal sides. This is the top and that's the bottom.
What you see here is the center drawer runner with the drawer divider glued in on top. While this is setting up, I'm going to drill holes in the drawer runners. The drawer guides are attached with screws, and because I want to account for differential expansion, I need to make an elongated hole in the back side, and that's what you're seeing here. I drill the first hole, move away from the stop, and then drill the second hole. And then I'll use the drill bit to bridge the difference between the 2 holes. I do find it amazing at how much the drill bit flexes when you're trying to do this. The front of the guide only needs a single hole. All the expansion is accounted for with the back slot.
Alright, I've got my dovetail set better this time, and of course that puts the groove in just on that dovetail right there so you don't see it. Now I'm moving my fence over just a microscopic amount each time in order to fit the plywood.
And now we'll test the fit of the bottom dado. Looks like that drawer bottom fits pretty tight.
Well, I've got my drawer partially assembled. The sides are into the dovetails maybe about halfway, and that's enough. What I really want to do is to get the overall shape assembled. Now this dimension right here, even with them pushed in halfway, this is a true dimension because the dovetails are seated. I don't like to assemble the joint too many times because it loosens it up every time I do it. So I still want to maintain that tight joint, but I need the dimension because now I'm getting ready to cut the centerpiece. Now the centerpiece is going to fit into these 2 dovetail ways. So when I cut it to length, I cut it from the ends on each of the 2 dovetails, not the sides of the drawers. And that's important. It's also important because this drawer runner is attached, and the dovetail is going to go through the drawer runner as well. So I will take this to the crosscut sled, cut one side, then come back here because this is my true measure. And then I will get this cut to length, go to the router table, put the dovetails on both sides. Now I will cut the dovetail short and then round off the top, and that will allow me to move this piece up and down in the dovetail way, because this groove right here has to line up with this right here. And this is going to be just a little bit shy of the bottom. I don't want any rubbing here except through the guide. So once this is assembled, I will take these two sides, assemble the center piece in, glue it in place, take the drawer bottoms, push them in on either side, and then I will take the sides and put them in. And that's going to be our sequence.
Well, you know, a test fit always helps.
Well, let me tell you in advance how I think this is going to go, because once I get started, I'm not slowing down. I'm going to take and put just a little bit of glue right here in this dovetail way. It won't take much. I'll take this guy right here, turn him upside down, and slide him into place. Now, he will try to go past, but I'll take these and I'll slide these into this way and then into this right here, and that'll keep him level. Well, I've got this side, front and back, and the center support in place and secured vertically. I will clamp the center into place. After that, the drawer bottoms go in. I'll take a drawer bottom and slide him into place with a couple of dabs of glue right here and maybe one or two right there, and just let him ooze on in. Now, I'll put the other side in after that, still with this clamp in place, and get it to seat. After that, the sides go on, and that's when I'll glue up the dovetails and get those done. So it's going to be quick, but I've only got 10 minutes on the camera. After that, it shuts off automatically. You can thank Nikon for that. So we'll see what we can get done, and if I hear it click, I'll turn it back on again. If I don't, well, you'll see the first part. We'll pick up the second part on another drawer. All right, I'm changing things up a little bit. I've got my piece in the dovetail ways. We'll start with this right here as before. Well, you know, I don't know if you got all of it, but you got most of it. And I turned it back on about part of the way through, so basically, we're very, very square. I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup, rounding off all these edges. You got to be careful with this edge right here. That's the front, and I want that veneer to sit flush hard against that, so we won't be sanding that down any, but some of these rounded over edges could use a little bit. I'm going to let this sit in the clamps for about an hour, and then I'm going to come back and clean up some of this glue. Based on the dry fit, I think it'll go in the cabinet rather nicely. But in about an hour, I want to put it flat on my bench to make sure I don't have any racking in this way. I can't hardly tell that till I get it out of the clamps. But it'll still be just loose enough that I can pull it down to the table and get any of that out of it as well. Right now, it's pretty square. Now, you do make mistakes, and I made one. That joint over there, which was over there when this was upside down, yeah, I forgot to put glue on it. But we were moving fast enough that we recovered, and I think we're going to be just fine. So everything is glued up now, and man, I tell you, it looks pretty nice. Yeah, I think it looks real nice. Well, the glue set up overnight, and I'm very happy with the fit. You can hardly see a line from where you are. I'll get a closer picture. It is smooth. And a drawer like this doesn't really need a drawer runner. It is that smooth. We'll put one in anyway. So I'm very happy with this, and the dovetails have turned out nice. The fit is exceptional. And now we have a procedure for building a drawer with a center divide. And we're going to be building the next 3 very quickly in mass. We're not going to do them one at a time. We're going to get it all done in various steps. I have limited room in this garage, and I need to get that beast of a dovetailing machine back on the shelf. So we're going to make our dovetails and get on with it. Since you've seen this one, I'm not going to produce much video on this. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. The next thing we'll do after we get these 3 drawers fitted out and in place, we'll start working on the base.